Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Football Focus SG Podcast with myself, Faiz. Next to me, Harun Nazri, and also welcome back, Mr. JB. How are you guys doing so far?
Great, all good.
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah,
JB.
all good, all good.
Yeah.
A
So,
lot of
how's
football
football
action
been
going
treating
on.
you guys? Because based on our last episode, we discussed mostly on the round of 16, and here we are. As per recording now, we have come to the semi-final. In fact, one of the semi-final has been played for Euros, and even Copa America has been playing. How's football been treating you?
I think for myself, I got a newborn, so I'm finding it a little bit difficult to watch some matches.
Yeah.
But based on the highlights that I saw, there's been some pretty interesting matches. Teams that we're not expecting to make it as far as they did make it as far as what we saw, and some surprising exits in the round of 16. So it's been great. I haven't had the opportunity to watch much of the Copa, but based on the results that we saw, and of course today we got the news that Argentina is going to face Brazil in the final, that makes it an exciting days to come. So I sort of speak.
Yeah, and how about you, Mr. JB? How's football been treating you? And I believe you also watch Copa America.
Yes. Football has been great. Not so much my prediction. Okay. Unfortunately, the Germans already out of the tournament. Pretty early, I must say. Uh, yeah, but other than that, yes, I agree. A lot of football action. Euros has been full of surprises. Copa not so much, although there are some surprises which I think we will cover later on. So yeah, it's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, we're gonna cover a bit more. And speaking about the like what you say, Mr. JB, based on all of our predictions, I'm not gonna go through each and every one because we do. This was prediction based on round of 16. But like what Harun Aziz said earlier, there was some very surprising results. So the question that I just want to ask you guys, because initially, let's face it, okay, the last group of Euros, the group of death, we all kind of expected at least one of them to at least go to the final. And only for us to find out that in the round of 16, all three of them are out: Portugal, France, and Germany. So what do you guys think about France, Germany, and Portugal all being out? Of course, Portugal is lost to Belgium. Germany lost to England, which is I was the only one to predict England win. And for France, Harun Nasri very spot on with an entertaining 3-3 draw and Switzerland to win the penalties. It's a very spot on, except for Paul Pogba. You see, Paul Pogba for me is like instead it was Kylian Mbappe. Yes.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I'm gonna go with Mr. JB first. How do you feel that the teams that are currently going on now? We have four teams in the semi-final, one in the final already, which is Italy, and including tonight, which is England versus Denmark. So how do you think all the countries have fared in the knockout round? Which one surprises you? Which one impresses you? Which one's disappointed?
Well, I mean, this is one of the reasons why football is one of the most watched sports in the world right now because um, it's very, very unpredictable. At the end of the day, it just shows that the team that wants to be there and go all out, give you 110%, you will get the result going on. For me, the very first disappointing one for me has to be my Netherlands.
Yeah, losing a Czech Republic, that was very surprising.
Yeah, I mean, losing to Czech Republic, I watched their game. The first half, Netherlands was controlling their game. They probably get a bit too complacent, not being too clinical up front, and end up they got punished. And I believe there's also a send off, I think, in that match as well. So yeah, correct. There's a send off by Delight.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of unexpected send off here and there in Euro so far. But yes, the first disappointment for me is Netherlands. The second disappointment for me has to be Germany. Because, I mean, no disrespect to England. I mean, England have a very diverse squad. But at the same time, I feel that, I watched that game. Germany is very, very underwhelming. They start off slow. I'm not sure what their game plan is. Probably want to ride it out to extra time or something. But they got punished as expected. France as well. France and Switzerland is another interesting game as well because again, France was cruising on. I mean, that game is crazy. France was France was leading, I believe it was 3-1.
Yeah,
At
they
one
were
point,
leading
and then
3-1,
the last,
and in the last 10 minutes, Switzerland.
yeah, and then last 10 minutes it's 3-3. You know what I'm saying? So again, complacent, probably. And at the end of the day, for me, Spain is the one that caught me by surprise for actually, reaching this far of the competition despite me thinking they are going out. So yes, a whole bunch of surprises for me. Italy, not so much of a surprise. So yeah, let's hope that later on the match between England and Denmark will be a surprise. Denmark, yes, another surprise as well. So
Yeah.
again, a very, very good football tournament for the Euros this year.
Yeah. All right, go over to you, Harun Nazri. What do you feel about from round of 16 up till now? Which one surprises you? Which one impresses?
I think, let me speak about Germany, Portugal, and France coming out from the group of death. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Germany, right from the get-go, I felt that they have been disappointing, and I felt, something just wasn't clicking for them as a group. To me, it's a little bit surprising that the coach decided to go with Gnabry up front when they have an for say out and out striker in Timo Werner, or I just couldn't see Gnabry. Yes, he's the head coach and he calls the shot, but to me, Gnabry is much more of a player coming out from the width or the wide
He's kind of like
positions.
out and out winger, right?
To me, and what we saw from his time in Bayern, playing in Bayern, he's more the player coming in from the wide positions, and it caught me by surprise. Of course, sometimes you want to tinker about with your squad, but I felt that wasn't the right choice from the get-go. And I felt they deserve to be out, I thought otherwise. I remember my prediction. I predicted them to win the entire thing.
Yeah.
And it's very disappointing the way that the Euros planned out for them. And then we move on to Portugal again. I felt right from the get-go, didn't perform well as compared to teams like Belgium, Netherlands, who hit the ground running, right from the start. They were cruising through and they ended up third and still go through to the next round, which I felt was undeserving. And then we have France. I felt they did well in the group stages, but I think from a 3-1 position and then losing and then letting the opponents equalize, make it 3-3 and then losing out in the penalties, you can say that it is deserving for the team that claw back to an equalizer and then winning in the penalties. Everyone loves an underdog story. But what's interesting is for me to find out later in the news that there might be some arguments between the coach, Didier Deschamps, and Paul Pogba, both not agreeing, and one party wanted to attack more, the other party wanted to defend, and ended up the party that wanted to attack more ended up losing the ball. Hint, go and figure it out who I'm talking about. So,
is it common in terms of your coaching perspective? Is this considered common for you that players give you feedback and they disagree and they try to push their ways?
Okay, maybe I'm a little bit old school, but I strongly believe that if your coach says something to you, you abide by it. Doesn't matter if you're a World Cup winner, doesn't matter if you're a Euro winner, doesn't matter if you're a football icon, a legend in the modern era. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the coach calls the shot. If, say, example, you have an issue with the coach, finish the game, listen to the coach. After the game, go and talk it out.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree, and then see what's best for the team. And I felt we don't know 100% because what we see are in the tabloids and in the news, but it's not the first time that it has happened to that particular player. I think we have read news before also with regard to the same player and how his relationships are with coaches. But yeah, it is what it is. Losing on penalties after leading 3-1, letting the opponents to come back. Credit to the opponent. Deserve to go through, and France deserve to go out. Team that has impressed me so far, I think. Yes, I remember we did mention about Italy being the underdogs going to the tournament because everyone wasn't paying attention to them. Now only then people are paying attention to them, right?
Yes.
But I think another team that was not spoke about a lot was Spain. Everyone was talking about Spain, Luis Enrique leaving all the Real Madrid players behind. But they didn't see, I think everyone didn't see Spain coming the way that they did. yes, they lost in the semi-finals. Cruelly, I think they lost the match cruelly through penalties. But I think on all our part, we didn't see Spain playing the football that they were playing. Dani Olmo, performing brilliantly. Pedri, wow, brilliant players. Morata here and there, but I do believe him as a forward. Unlucky for him to go through all the death threats and whatnot for the family. That shouldn't happen in football.
Yeah.
But yeah, Italy going to the finals. I want to say that I told you so, but I say
Yeah,
that they were underdogs.
you did say it in the
Yeah.
previous episode that Italy is the one to look out for, and
Yeah.
that's your proof right there. So
Yeah. So I think that's it for me, man. For now.
you're right. So
So
yeah, coming.
just to add on a little bit on that part, just to add a little bit of spice. I think it's a French problem apparently with
Yeah.
this dressing room problems and all. It's not the first time we've seen it. Almost
Yeah.
every single major tournament, there's someone new in charge. It's either the players or the one in charge. So we don't know what's going on there. And of course, yes, I mean, props to Harun Nazri for mentioning about Spain. Yes, nobody noticed them. They entered a tournament with that kind of so-called bad press. For not selecting
Yeah.
any Real Madrid players when actually there's no guideline that says that you must take from Real Madrid players. And yes, I think the coach did select the player very, very well. Pedri did well.
Yeah.
A lot of
Morata
youth in
again
the squad.
unlucky.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's really, really showing and telling. And I think if I recall correctly, I think I did saw an article started saying that perhaps with this current Spain squad, it might be like their golden generation era again. They might win the World Cup next year. They may or may not. So yeah, it's a very, very interesting take. So yeah.
Yeah, I think somehow leading up to the tournament, they went under the radar.
Yeah.
I think the hype was all about England. It's coming home. It's coming home. So somehow I felt Spain went under the radar, and then when they popped up, they really popped out. Good football. Unfortunate that pleasing football. Good for the eyes, good for entertainment. But yeah, unfortunate to go out the way that they did in the penalties, via penalties.
Yeah, all right. Okay, I'll share a little bit of mine. Mine probably the most disappointing, I would say. Yeah, definitely all those three countries that we have mentioned so far from the group of there. Because personally, out of the three, we would expect at least one in the semi-final, right? But none of them are there. Next one will be, I would say, no offense, but Belgium. I feel like Belgium doesn't get the critics that they deserve right now, because this is not the first time that they have the so-called golden generation squad and being out of the quarterfinals 2 Euros in a row now. So I feel that, is it the manager or is it the players that he's using? I mean, the players are there. The defenders, okay, they may be aging. I mean, he's using a back three of Vermaelen, Vertonghen, and Alderweireld. It's like, yeah, aging defenders now. So the golden generation may soon fade. And for them to be out by quarterfinal, no. I feel like they deserve to go even further with the squad that they should, But credits to Italy for, like what Hernazi said, just one of those countries that no one talks about, no one seems to notice until the tournament comes, until starts to go in and the stats and the records comes out about the clean sheets and the winning streaks. So yeah, then slowly then they will get the media attention. Most impressed, I would say, it's hard for me to say Denmark is actually most impressive, but somehow they did manage to reach semi-final, so I'm not going to discredit that. Most surprising also Czech Republic, because I feel that even though, yes, they are out in quarterfinals, but I feel like they did go far, Ukraine is also another one. Like we all kind of, Mr. JB predict Ukraine to go through from round of 16 to quarterfinal, and they did. But I wasn't expecting Ukraine to go quarterfinal as well. So those are the few countries that impressed me. Again, not to mention Spain. You guys already said it. Took the words out of my mouth. Spain did what many people thought they should have been out a long time ago. But they press on, and they lost only by penalties. It's not like a disappointing run, Well, sticking to the Euros, and as you said, Italy's to the final. We have England and Denmark. So what do you guys think? Is it coming home? I'll start with Harun. Is football coming home to England?
I'm going to echo what Casper Schmeichel said. Has it ever been home? You know,
Ooh.
has it ever been home? You know, they only won it. They won the World Cup, and that was in 1966, and that's 60 year pass, I think.
Yeah,
50, 54,
52,
58, around
yeah.
there. Yeah, and it's only the World Cup. Look, I've mentioned this before in previous episodes. I'm an underdog story lover. I'm banking on Denmark to win it. And you know, finals. If I feel everyone, if say my take is for what I want to see is for Italy to play against Denmark, and then you know, of course, either team that wins it are teams that no one would predict it in a way. Everyone would
Both kind
predict
of
Italy to win
deserve.
it. Yeah, Italy would obviously be the bookmakers' choice to win, but you know what a fairy tale story it will be if Denmark were to go all the way and win it.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, most definitely. Mr. JB, is football coming home for you?
Well, the only reason it's coming home is because the semis and the final will be played at Wembley. That's the only thing that's coming home or feels at home at least. And it's going to be painful because England will be out at home. So for me personally, as much as you know, I feel that England may not win it, but I do feel that they have enough quality to go through at least to the final. Uh, no disrespect to Denmark, of course. I mean, I agree that a fairy tale story would be nice in football, but let's not forget, if Italy were to win it, it's also a form of fairy tale story, and here's why. In 2018 World Cup, they were not even there. They didn't qualify for the
Yeah.
2018 World Cup.
Yeah.
So at that point of time, they went through, that whole silence, that whole critique that they went through. And if you look at their back two, I believe their back two is like one of the oldest, perhaps, pairing,
Yeah, and now probably the most strongest centre back that we've seen so far in terms of partnership.
So
Yeah.
you see, yeah, it's amazing to see. So to me, an even greater fairy tale story for me personally is to see Italy winning this tournament, because I feel that Roberto Mancini, credit to him, he has been doing a very great job, to motivate the player. I mean, did you see the last kick in the penalty shootout? Like that was cold as ice. No one can be that cold and perfect. You can tell that Mancini goes in, he has a game plan, he knows what he's doing, the team knows what they're doing. So yeah, at the moment, I think chemistry wise, have to give it to the Italians. England again, I mean, they have the players and everything, but I don't know, man. It's just England.
No, I mean, okay,
I
can understand from both point of view that yes, Italy has been deserving. In terms of England versus Denmark, we all kind of rooting a little bit for the underdogs and fairy tales story. Yes, we understand English media hype is what makes us sick the most, of course. But should we really take them seriously? Because if you look at their Euro as of now, they have went through all the matches from the start till now without conceding. They have clean sheet from the start till now, and is convincing after convincing. Even against Germany, where everyone kind of write England off already, they won convincingly. It's not one of those where they won by luck over a last minute goal or a penalty or extra time. No, they press on. Like is this really? It's just because of the English hype of what we have been seeing is what kind of makes us feel that England doesn't deserve to really win. But looking at the squad, do you actually believe that they are stronger than Italy or Denmark?
Well, I mean, it depends. If you're talking about overall, probably, but no, I don't think so. If you're talking about back four, I agree. Yes, England has definitely improved the back four. Maguire, Shaw, I think is right now like the best left back of the tournament right now. Maguire, my El Capitan from United, is also showing his work. So yeah, I must say the back four is looking very, very comfortable. The keeper also, I feel improved over time. But again, in terms of the clinical part, I don't know, not so much on the clinical part. I expected more from Harry Kane. I think he probably only scored like 3 right now. Raheem Sterling has been pulling it. But yeah, I mean, I agree to a certain extent that the media actually played this so much about it's coming home, that we
Yeah,
just
it's
find it
just
like
sick
a
of
bitter pill
hearing
to
it. Yeah.
swallow. So yeah, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna throw it to
but
Hairul
all
Nazi
right.
now
So,
to add on.
like for you, Mr. JB, who do you think will go to final? Like, who's your? We all know Italy's in the final. So it's Italy versus who?
Well, I'm gonna say Italy, England in the final. I'm gonna
Italy,
I'm, I'm,
England.
I'm gonna give them the final. Yep. But it won't be easy. I'm sure Denmark will give them a run, a run for it, probably by extra time. But yep, it's gonna be an Italy England final for me.
Yeah. All right. Harunazi, final. I believe you said you would love to have an underdog story, which is Denmark. But maybe you can answer the question regarding about what I asked earlier. Like, should we discredit England team with how their current performance now, with the clean sheets they're going through and all, just because of the English media hype about football's coming home?
Look, let's be. I'm not peddling to all the England supporters or whatnot, but look, we have to put it out there. They have a very talented squad. They have a talented squad, top to bottom, or bottom to top. They have a talented squad from the goalkeeper up to the forward. Do I feel it is the time for them to win a championship? Yes. Do I feel that they need to win a championship? Yes, based on the performance of the World Cup, the last edition of the major competition.
Yeah.
Do I think they have the capability of winning the Euros? Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
The fairy tale level side of me wants Denmark to go through. But the common sense thinking says England to go all the way. They have had the experience in the past major tournament where they finished third, I feel, or third or fourth in the last World Cup.
Yeah.
They have had the experience, and the players are getting better. Harry Kane is coming off one of his best seasons as a top goal scorer and top assist. I think no one has ever done that, or someone has done that before, and it's been a long time. They have Phil Foden. They have Raheem Sterling, who has not had a best season with Man City, but he's firing on all cylinders. And that only shows, from a coaching standpoint, that only shows what a coach's trust can do for a player. 100%. He's not performing well at City, but he's performing really well for England. That only shows how much a coach's trust can relate to a player. They have the most underrated midfield two in the middle, Declan Rice and Kevin Phillips. Who would have thought that these two will be the foundations of the midfield block for England? Nobody would have thought that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure if you ask me like 10, 20 years ago, would you pick like maybe Lampard, Gerrard, and Scholes in the midfield center compared to Kelvin Phillips and Declan Rice? Of course, I'll pick the previous one. But even the previous one couldn't win. So
look, if I think someone who doesn't go into I don't want to slander anyone, but I think the most obvious choice based on stature and whatnot, I think everyone will go for Jordan Henderson and maybe another play in central midfield, Jordan Henderson and Declan Rice, but no one would have seen Kevin Phillips coming the way he was. And he's playing for Leeds, not one of the top clubs in the season. Last 2 seasons, remember, he was playing in the Championship, and then now he's playing in the Premier League, and now he's playing for England as the first choice central midfielder. Who would have thought that? So I don't want to speak too much. They're having a good campaign. Some of the matches they're grinding it out. So it only shows us that they can switch up a notch. They can play their football. They can grind it out. And we all know teams that are able to do that are usually the ones who are successful. So like I said, the fairy tale level of me says I want Denmark to go through, but the most common sense thing is for England to go through against Italy, and I'm banking on England to win it, man. I'm banking on them to win it.
Oh, right. I mean, of course, there will be, hopefully we get to do a little bit of a final preview before the final match itself. Speaking of finals, we're going to move on a little bit to another final, Copa America, Argentina versus Brazil. So just a very easy and simple question for you guys. Who's going to win? Harunazi, start first. Argentina versus Brazil. Who's actually going to win? I know we don't normally get to watch all matches. We don't know what's all the stats, but we do see the news, we do see the scores, we do see the stats a little bit. Tell me, who's the favorite to win?
I'll be very honest. I haven't watched any of the matches. I only watch highlights. And based on the last match, Brazil against Peru, is it, in the semi-final?
Yes.
I saw the goal, the combination play between Neymar and Paqueta.
Yeah.
And the way Neymar dribbled 3 players before laying the ball off to Paqueta and Paqueta scoring.
Yeah.
I haven't watched, I'll be very honest, I haven't watched Argentina and Lionel Messi and his stuff. But based on prediction, don't be mad at me. I'm going for Brazil to win it, Lionel Messi to have another heartbreak, and Neymar to be the first player to win the Olympic medal, to win the Copa America. And there's another thing that he's won, I forget. Commonwealth Games or something like that. If I'm not wrong, I'm not too sure. But he'll be the first player to win all 3 of these tournaments, something like that. I know it's the Olympic. I know it's the Copa America if they win it. And there's one more competition I read somewhere.
Is it a Confed Cup?
I'm not sure. I think so. But I'm going with Brazil. Tite. And Tite is a man. If you guys have a chance, both Mr. JB and Faiz, and to whoever is watching and listening, subscribe to Amazon Prime. Go and watch All or Nothing, the Brazil National Team Edition. Brilliant. You see the coach and you see how he handles his team. Go and watch.
Wow. All right. Okay. We're definitely going to watch, and hopefully you guys as watching at home or listening to this podcast to check it out as well. So, Mr. JB, do you agree with Harun Nasri? He mentioned that he watched the Brazil highlights in the semi-final, but he never get to watch Argentina. While you, on the other hand, you just watched Argentina match earlier this morning. So you can share with us a little bit what do we to expect from this final.
Yep, I managed to catch the full game earlier today, and at the same time, I did manage to watch some highlights as they go on. I mean, I must say just one thing. As much as we have all praises for Neymar, I think Messi is really from another planet. That dude, I mean, wow, I mean, there's just no words to put to describe him. The way he runs with the ball. I mean, yes, nothing fancy. Not much step over, samba, gaining here and there. No. He just go for it. And I feel that Messi has matured over time. I mean, let's be fair to him. He has gone through so many heartbreaks in the international scene, such that he has never won an international trophy throughout his illustrious career. So basically, all the wonders that you heard are all with Barcelona, none with Argentina.
Yeah.
So after seeing today's game, I feel that they really have a chance at this Copa, because the players there, I mean, the respect that they have for him is immense. And what is even more immense is the goalkeeper, Emi Martinez. Wow, I mean,
three penalty saves, I believe, right?
Yeah, I mean, you guys have a chance. You guys should really watch the highlights, at least just the penalty part, because I mean, the way he set himself up, he was so confident with it. And I believe the second or the third kicker for Colombia, I think it's Yerry Mina.
Yeah, Yerry Mina.
So basically, when Yerry Mina got the ball, and then Emi Martinez went to him, and then there were some words being said, and Copa, I think the same. I'm sorry, Copa is not the same as Euro, where there are fans. So during that game, there's no fans. So basically, you can hear somewhat the conversation being said. So of course, I managed to read out online to see what exactly was being said. It's definitely not in English, but what Emi Martinez said to Yerry Mina was, I'm not sure if it's a verified source, but this is what I got online. He actually tell Yerry Mina that, he actually told Yerry Mina, are you nervous? Because I can tell you're nervous, and I know where you're gonna shoot the ball. Just watch and see how I'm gonna.
The mind game, the mind game.
Exactly. And the last line he said was, just watch and see how I'm gonna eat you up. And Yerry Mina was actually taking the ball, going there, putting at the spot, and I mean, this whole scene reminds me of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson once said that.
The trash talk.
The famous Mike Tyson once said, I mean, Mike Tyson don't even trash talk. But what he did was, all the other boxers, when they come to the ring, they wear the robe, right? They wear the robe and everything else. Mike Tyson comes out in shorts, without the robe. He's all ready to go. And during the stare down, when the referee starts to tell the rules and everything else, Mike Tyson will look at the guy dead in the eye, and he once said in an interview saying that the moment the guy looked down, he won the battle. He will win the match. So Emi Martinez, I don't know how he does it, but he managed to pull that out brilliantly. I mean, you should see Messi's face when I believe the Argentinian player that uses Depaul, I think, who has a very good tournament as well. So when he ballooned his penalty kick, you should see Messi's face. He's like, oh no, it's gonna be another heartache again for me. No, no, no. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's a class act, and the fact that Messi actually played the match with with his ankles bleeding and everything else, it just shows, man. I mean, he really wants it. I'm gonna go on the other side of the fence as compared to Harun Nasri. I think Argentina will win this Copa against Brazil this time, that's for sure.
Ooh, wow. All right. Yeah, personally, I just on the side note, you were talking about Emi Martinez. Personally, as Arsenal fan, yeah, makes me sad to see him go. But yeah, he's doing damn well after leaving Arsenal. But going to the final, I have the feeling this again is just one of those very tough battle. I feel it's just gonna go down to penalty. And no offense, I think Argentina's gonna make it. Only because of not because of any Martinez gonna save or whatever. I just can't stand seeing Messi crying meme all over again, all over on my social media. Just let that man win once, and we can all be happy. Neymar maybe can win in the next one. Who knows? But my thought, maybe Argentina kind of deserves. Maybe Argentina kind of deserves because they do have the players. Brazil played really well. I do watch a highlight as well. Like what Hernazi mentioned, and one of the goals they played, that is what Brazil is all about last time. That is what the flow is what they were last time. So it is scary for me to see that, people are not talking about Brazil nowadays, but they still have that tradition. They still have that kind of football style from the samba style, the way they work. But Argentina has, I would say, the right players in the right area. Normally, Argentina's number one flaw is a goalkeeper. And ever since Emi Martinez stepped in, he has been pretty much the crucial player of the tournament, I feel. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with Argentina to win by penalties. Don't know who's gonna miss. Maybe Neymar miss. I don't know. Right. Moving on. I'm gonna give you guys another rating session, the transfer rating session. So of course, over the course of times, we have some more players making their transfers during the tournament and all that, etc. Same thing, guys. 1 to 10. 1 is a bad business for club players. 10 is good for both. 5 is half and half. All right. So I'm again just gonna bring 5 players. You guys share with me your thoughts. All right. You guys ready? Ready to go?
Ready.
Okay. So the first one that I'm gonna go and ask you guys will be all these are mostly the well-known recognizable names, right? Around Europe mostly. Will be Hakan Çalhanoğlu joining from AC Milan to Inter Milan on a free transfer. Now, we don't normally see a San Siro transfer often, but for us to see Hakan Çalhanoğlu, of course, nowadays, I'm not saying nowadays rivalry is not there, but for this player, for some reason, doesn't have a lot of the negative reception by either one. Maybe AC Milan a little bit more. So yeah, Mr. JB, I'm gonna go to you first. Hakan Çalhanoğlu, AC Milan to Inter, good or bad transfer?
Well, I mean, this is a tough question because for me, you're just going from Milan to Milan, so it's like not sure if it's a step up or a step down at the moment, but I believe it's all business. It's probably just money talk probably.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure who's the current head coach for Inter. Is it Inzaghi? I think it is.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. Perhaps there's something up his sleeve.
I mean, he's a new manager, new players. We no idea.
Yeah. Yep. And I think AC Milan, well, they also have their fair share of problems here and there as well.
Yeah.
Other than Zlatan aside, I believe their manager is I think Stefano Pioli or something, the last one. So yeah, for me, I must say I'm very neutral about this transfer from AC to Inter. So that's my take.
What would you give your rating?
Oh, sorry. You mean out of 10?
Yeah, out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give a 5.
5.
I'll give a 5.
All right. Harunazi, over to you. Hakan Çalhanoğlu.
For me, of course, watching the game, he was in the Euros with Turkey. Turkey didn't have the most best of tournaments. Was he a standout player? I think the very first match that they lost against the Italians, I believe, He did stand out for his team, yes, but not enough to affect the whole game, or maybe the rest of his teammates are just bad. But I'll go straight into rating. I'll just give it a 5 because I think it's a move that, whether it happens or not, it doesn't really shake
Does it really matter much or impact much?
Yeah, it doesn't. I think it doesn't shake the football stratosphere or something. It doesn't make people go like wow or you know. Yeah, I think maybe I think the only people that is going to shake it up is the Milan fans, the AC Milan fans. While I believe the Inter fans would be like, yeah, it's not a big name, so what? So I don't feel, when he was younger, I think 3 or 4 seasons back, people were talking about him, and his name was he was making a name for himself. But I feel apart from last season, the season that just concluded, he hasn't been performing well for the past 3 seasons or 2 or 3 seasons. I think last season he did relatively well, but I don't think he's on par with the. Let's not talk about Ronaldo and Messi. They are on a different planet. But I think he's not on par. He's an attacking midfielder. Let's just take an attacking midfielder in the Italian league. Let's take one Italian league. Let's say Lorenzo Insigne. I don't think he's on that level. I don't think he's on the same level as Insigne. I don't think he's on the same level as Kevin De Bruyne, attacking midfield. I don't think he's on the same level as most of the top attacking midfielders that we have in this generation. So 5, for me, a 5. He's just at his level where people are expecting world-class players. If we play FIFA 21, I think he's at a professional level.
That's true. Personally, for myself, I think I would say I will agree with you guys a 5. Reason being because before the start of the Euros, we had a lot of high hopes for Turkey, and he's definitely one of those players that we mentioned to watch, in the tournament, the deep ball, free kick specialist, and etc. How he has done in his Milan and all. But after underwhelming tournament and a relatively quiet season for AC Milan last season, so this transfer just doesn't seem to, like what you guys said, impact much for not even maybe the whole Syria, but maybe for those 2 individual clubs, considering their rivalry, So moving on, we have another player that we're going to discuss. Will be Alvaro Morata from Atletico Madrid back to Juventus. I believe he's a 2-year loan with option to buy or something like that. Now Morata, again, like what we have Harun has mentioned about, he's not really having a great tournament, but to the point that people are giving him death threats, which doesn't deserve and all. What do you think? Is this really a good move for him to go to Juventus? Harun Nazri, I'm gonna start with you first.
I think the misconception that people have about Alvaro Morata is, people always have this misconception that he's not a good player. I think he is. I think, of course, he's not at the top of his game among the likes of the legend Ronaldo as a striker, among the legends like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but he has his abilities. He can hold up the play well, and he can get behind defenders. He's not a speedy player, but he does have his attributes. And him moving from Atletico to Juventus, if Cristiano stays at Juventus, I think he's still going to play second fiddle to Ronaldo. I don't see him playing in other positions. If Juventus is going to play with a 3 up top, I don't see him overthrowing Ronaldo unless Ronaldo is injured. But it is what it is. Cristiano is coming. I don't know. Maybe it's bad for me to say he's coming to the end of his career, but injuries might set in here and there. And I think with Mr. Max Allegri coming back to Juventus, I feel, if I'm not wrong, Morata has ever played for him before. And with the combination of him, with the likes of Tevez and Dybala as well in the squad, if I'm not wrong. So I think it's an interesting mix. And but I'll give it a 5 out of 10 again, because I think it will be beneficial to Juventus, but with the like of Morata, I think he should go to a lower club where he can play football week in, week out, and then improve. Not playing second fiddle to anyone.
All right. So 5
Yeah.
as well for Morata as well.
5. For
Mr.
Morata,
JB?
5.
Well, for me, I think he just broke some record for the Spain national team, right? For being the top scorer in the European Championship finals. So I think he had a good tournament, I would say. And like what Harnazi mentioned, he's not really a bad flop player. It's just that, some players are just not likable, probably not sellable, as a player, So, but that doesn't mean they are bad, or equally as bad. I mean, it's the same like Lukaku. I mean, he goes everywhere. He becomes their top scorer in almost every league that he went, but just not likable. So back to Morata, I think going back to Juve. Well, he's been to Juve before, right? And then he
Yeah.
went to Atletico,
So he's
and then
going
now
back
back to Juve. Yeah. So I think overall, I wouldn't say it's a step up for him, but at the same time, I think Juventus can probably utilize him pretty well, especially coming out from Euros. Yeah, I mean, he will still be second fiddle. Ronaldo is still there, so probably a good backup for Juventus. So I would say I'll give a 6.
6. All right. Personally, myself, yeah, I think I kind of agree. I would say 6 as well. Reason being because Morata, like what you guys said, is not probably the most sought after strikers, but he do score important goals. He's just one of those players that, when maybe the game where they might need him the most, he will be there, second fiddle to everyone, but he's still quality. If not, Luis Enrique wouldn't pick him. I mean, he above all the Real Madrid players. Come on. So there's got to be something good about him. So I feel that it's not really much of a step up because it's him returning back to his old club, but not sure whether this is going to be the start for him to kick on again and be the Morata like what he was last time. So I would say a 6 for now. Moving on to our third transfer, a top transfer that happened around, and this one just happened, I believe, today or last night, that they announced Achraf Hakimi from Inter Milan to Paris Saint-Germain for a 66 million. 66 million for Achraf Hakimi. So I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna say it's a good signing, but is he worth 66 million? It's another debate for me. Personally, I think he's coming off from a very good campaign. I believe on loan from Dortmund, and all. He played really well. He was like one of those high-scoring wingbacks, defenders there, and midfield he can play up there. Definitely, he will add more into the creativity and the diverse of PSG attack now. Like they're not gonna overly reliant on Neymar and Mbappe on the wings. When you have wingback like Hakimi who can drive up, as well. So I think it's a decent signing, but 66 million is a little bit too much for me to hear that, but I would say it's a decent quality signing. I'm going to say 7 out of 10. Mr. JB, how about you?
For me, looking at his age and the clubs that he played, I mean, he has quite a resume, so I'm not really surprised by the price.
He played Real Madrid, Dortmund, Inter Milan. He played in high-profile clubs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think Inter is just trying to bank on him, and yeah, I think Paris Saint-Germain can definitely afford that money. It's probably peanuts for them. Okay, so back to him. I think he's a quality player. He plays as you mentioned, he's a wide style kind of defender because I believe he trains as a winger before he drops down to a defender.
Yeah.
So that's why he's been banging goals. And at his age, I feel that, how old is he? Probably 22, 23?
He's actually pretty young. Yeah, he's actually 22.
Exactly. Yep. So there you go. I mean, he has time to grow and everything, and he's going to play alongside one of the biggest names. Yes, people may say French league, it's probably a step down and all these things. But I think for him, I think it's a very good move to be playing again, new environment, make a name for yourself, put a stamp to your name there. And yeah, I mean, the fact that he's Moroccan, also another quality player coming from the Middle East. So I would say it's a very good signing for him personally. PSG, well, that really depends on what the coach has for him. At the moment, it's Pochettino.
Yeah,
So,
Pochettino.
but definitely I see his transfer as a starter lah. So he'll definitely start for Paris Saint-Germain sooner if not later. So I'll rank this at 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Harun Nazik, over to you.
For me, I'll go with 3 pointers. I think it's a 10 out of 10 for Inter Milan because they sold him for 66 million, and we all know that Inter Milan needs the money. That's why Conte left. So
Yep.
it's a good deal. It's a great deal for Inter Milan. For PSG, buying him at 66 million, will he benefit PSG? For sure, yes. He's young. Will it really benefit PSG? I think not so much because I think they already have the right back that they need. They already have Thomas Meunier, if I'm not wrong, it's there.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, he's already at PSG, and they have another right back. I'm not too sure what's his name, but I think at right back position, the matches that I saw PSG was involved in last season, I think they don't have a problem at right back position. So it was quite puzzling to why he made the move there. And for PSG, I would give a rating of about six of between 5 to 6 because I don't know why they made that decision. Maybe they're banking on his youth or they are looking long term. If that's the case, then maybe more points to them.
Yeah.
For Hakimi himself, I'll give the move a 5 or even a 4. Why? I believe there was interest from Chelsea. I believe there was. I saw some articles.
Yeah.
If I'm in his position, of course I'm not. If I'm in his position, I would push for the move to go to Chelsea. Why? Number one, yes, they do have Reece James, but he could also be a replacement for Cesar Azpilicueta, right?
Yeah.
Azpilicueta is already in his 30s. I feel that why not sign for Chelsea? No disrespect to Ligue 1. It's a respectable league. We have Lille winning the championship when everyone thought that PSG is going to run away with it. That only proves that it's not PSG's league. They're not buying the league. It's up for everyone to win it. But as a player and as an outsider, as someone who admires his talents, I feel he could have moved to Chelsea and gave Reece James a run for his money. Reece James is not someone who is very consistent in his performances.
But I believe Hakimi has played under Thomas Tuchel before. Did he?
I'm not too sure about that. But I feel if he wants to step up as a player, he's 22 years old or 23, he's young. If he wants to learn, that's a good coach to learn from. I'm not saying Pochettino is a bad coach, no. But if he had moved to Chelsea, living in London, living the high life, learning with good players, training in a good club, under great management with Mr. Abramovich and the marketing director or the sales, I won't call it sales woman, but the lady who's in charge of transfers, and then have Peter Cech as one of the role models that you can look up to, learn under Thomas Tuchel, fight for your position with Reece James. I think that would have been a better move for him. So yeah. I can foresee him moving again in 2 or 3. I can see him moving in 2 or 3 seasons. I don't see him playing in PSG all the way. I don't see that happening.
All right. So again, your rating again, was it like 5, 6?
For Achraf Hakimi himself, I'll give it a 4. I think he made the wrong move. I feel.
All right. Moving on to our 4th player of the day, and this is Mr. JD's favorite, and just so happened he's going to start first. Josko Vardiol, which is his favorite defender from Croatia, made a move from Dynamo Zagreb to RB Leipzig in Bundesliga now. So, of course, this is definitely a step up because he played in Croatian League. Of course, the biggest highlight performance will be debuting in the Croatia in Euros, and also a part of the team that actually knocked Tottenham Hotspur out in the Euros with the comeback. So, Mr. JB, Josko Vardiol, is this a huge step up for him in Bundes?
Yeah, of course, definitely. It's about time. He's 18 or probably 19 now. Has a lot of potential, that kid. I only saw his potential on FM, so it's a bit not quite a good gauge, I would say. But yes, I mean, if you guys see Croatia's tournament, he did very well playing that, I believe, left back role. Or sometimes he starts as a centre back. So yes, I believe he's an exciting player. Good move for him. Yeah, I feel that he, I mean, it's his time to shine. So I will give you a very high rating for him. I'm gonna go 9 out of 10. It's gonna be very, very exciting.
RB Leipzig knows how to make their underrated signings, don't they?
Oh yes, for sure, for sure. They managed to polish all the hidden gems into diamonds. That's what they get.
All right, I'm gonna go second for this. Josko Vardiol. Yeah, I heard about him only thanks to you, Mr. J. And only start to watch him over the Euros and watch a bit of highlight if possible during that the Dynamo Zagreb versus Spurs and their run, all the way. Yeah, he looks to be a very promising player. He has that presence of what the defender should have, that the intimidation for the attackers to try and dribble past him, and he knows how to close them down. He's actually a very decent signing, and it's only for 20 million. For 20 million, I think it's a very decent bargain considering the transfer inflation that we have now. For a 19-year-old that has been playing in Euros, 20 million, I think it's a good deal. And I would say it's a 7. I would say it's a 7, not as high, only because that I'm giving benefit of a doubt. Because of my knowledge of him is not that high, but he is young, he is potential, he plays in Euros. What more can you ask? 20 million, 7 out of 10. Harun Nazri, over to you.
Okay, I'll be very honest with this one. I don't know who the player is. I've never watched him before. So I'm not going to give a rating. But if he's a player from transferring from Dinamo Zagreb to RB Leipzig, it only shows progression. It only for a club as ambitious as RB Leipzig, for them to sign him up, I think that only shows a good sign. That only shows good signs that they believe in him. And from a coaching standpoint, I know the talents that come out from Dinamo Zagreb, all the talents that come out from there. They have a lot of talents coming out from the academy, and it only shows that the academy is doing great things. Again, I won't comment or I won't give a rating to how it's like or what the players like, but kudos to him and kudos to RB Leipzig for believing in his talents.
All right, 10. And moving on, one last final transfer, and of course, I leave the best for the last. This is obviously the biggest one, and I'm sure everyone heard about it. Jadon Sancho from Dortmund to Manchester United for 113 million with a lot of add-on clause and bonuses. Wow, is probably this is the highest amount of fees so far as of this moment. Of course, there's going to be more transfers coming up, but Harun Nazri, start with you. Jadon Sancho.
Again, how much did he cost? 500 and
113 million. 113 with a plus.
113.
Yeah.
What an odd number that is. 113. Yeah.
Yeah, because they did kind of go for 100 million, but they kind of reject. So I believe that 30 million just kind of break the bank.
All right. I think anything being spent above 100 million is a little bit outrageous. I had a number. Okay, it's not nice for me to say this, but I think for Jadon Sancho, I've always pictured him as someone who's worth around 80 million, 80. And that 80 million, is the money that United paid 80 million for Paul Pogba. I think it's not as worth it as what they're gonna get out of Jadon Sancho, I feel. So that only shows that I rate the move highly. I think he is gonna add things to Manchester United. I think he is a talented player. I do watch Dortmund's matches, and he is a live wire. I won't say live wire, but he is a game changer. He can do things. It's unfortunate that we don't see much of him in the Euros for him to display his talents, but it is a plus point for United. It is a great move for Jadon Sancho, and he was a former Manchester City boy. So that's a little pun to all the City fans. So I'll rate the move 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 9 out of 10. Very high. Mr. JB. Over to you. You're the Manchester fan. How do you feel when you hear this signing? And give us your rating. Jadon Sancho. Finally, the saga is over. Joining Man.
Honestly, I almost thought that the deal isn't going to go through again because we've been hearing his name for the past 2, 3 transfers. I don't know how many transfer windows. His name has been mentioned over and over, but nothing has been come true. I guess money talks. So that's why the outrageous amount finally moved Dortmund to let him go. As far as the move goes to United, yeah, he definitely had something to United. We have not had a proper winger since probably Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, we have Memphis Depay here and there, Angel Di Maria, but none as good as Cristiano Ronaldo. So yes, in addition, like Jadon Sancho, tricky player, creative player on the wings. I just hope that United just don't how to say don't damper or cover his talent. Let him be free, express himself. He's a young boy. Um, yeah, I mean definitely I'm so excited to see him play. At the end of the day, he will definitely add something, flair, spark, speed, all these things in the wings that we should probably see. Enough of seeing one Bissaka going up and down the flanks. Give him a break, time for Sancho to do the work. So yeah, I'm very, very happy for this move, and I feel that it's a very good deal for United. I will give it a 9.5.
9.5.
I hope Ole doesn't spoil Jadon Sancho.
Yes. That's the only concern. Let's hope the PE teacher do not spoil him. Yeah.
My concern with, I think, just to add on, I'm sorry. I think Jadon Sancho is someone who you can't restrict him. He's not a player that you can restrict. You have to let him go, and he will cause you nightmares in the training ground because I feel he's a player that you can't control. He's someone that you have to let go. You have to, as a coach, sometimes you have to lift certain, you have to lift certain restrictions of players. And I won't compare him to Lionel Messi because Lionel Messi is an alien. He's a different person altogether. But he is in that kind of mold. And I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does do good things for Jadon Sancho. I'm praying for him. Yeah. So, yeah.
All right. For me, I'm gonna give it, like what you guys say. I think this is a 9 out of 10 for me. I mean, I think we've seen the qualities of him in Bundesliga. I mean, I can understand that Man United has not been doing too well signing players from Dortmund. I mean, if you think about it, Shinji Kagawa, Mkhitaryan. I mean, those are the two names from Dortmund itself, and they're not doing well. But Jadon Sancho is English, so I don't think that's really going to be a factor. But my my concern for him will be like what you said, Arunazi, like Ole keeping him there, and it's going to be very frightening now in the league. I mean, if him playing on the side and Rashford up front, and with Jesse Lingard, who has been performing well and is back in Man United, Jadon Sancho and Messi Lingard, who knows? This could be a deadly duo as well. Yeah, I think it's a very good signing. I'm just going to give 9 out of 10. And with that being said, thank you so much, everyone, for watching our episode of Football Focus SG podcast. Do follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And also share your likes, comment, and subscribe. I'll give a question of the day for you guys. Who's the player of the tournament for Euros? I'm gonna go with mine first. Player of the tournament in Euros has to be a very underrated player that's playing well, and that guy's from Italy. I would say Locatelli. I think Locatelli played really, really well in this tournament. Not many people talk about him because he's from Sassuolo, but I feel he kind of deserves the pat on the back at least. For this tournament, he played really well. Mr. JB, over to you.
For me, I would have to say the player that Harun Nazri mentioned, and that's Raheem Sterling. I think, looking back, yes, he doesn't have the best of his seasons at Man City. But again, Gareth Southgate have faith in him, starting him almost every game. And he's slowly proving his work. So, I do feel Raheem Sterling because not much credit has been given. He also, didn't have enough chance to prove himself on the national stage. And I think now when the chance has been given to him, he delivered. So for me, it's Raheem Sterling.
All right, Ken and Harunazi, last to you.
So far, player of the tournament, I think for me personally, no one stands out as of now. But if I have to choose one player, I think I have to go with Wow. Like no one stands out. But I think the talk of the town is Calvin Phillips. I think I'll go with Calvin Phillips.
Yeah,
I think he's surprising
it's
a
good
lot
show.
of people.
Very good show.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. With that being said, thank you guys again so much, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.